I can't see where it is. Uh-oh. I don't know what's going on here now. I've got to imagine the bloody... What's going on? Oh, it didn't go. Whoa, g'day everybody. I'm not sure what happened there. We had black screen. It didn't take off, so I might have been mumbling when we started. Anyway, we're here. I'm hoping this is going to air, and happy Easter, everyone, if you celebrate Easter. I know in Australia, I'm Australian, it's a big deal for two reasons. One, it's a religious celebration, but for majority, it's just a huge holiday. We get Mondays and it's always Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday holiday, and everyone usually goes camping, even if you've never camped before and you're not necessarily into camping. If there's one time when you go camping, it's at Easter, and huge number of people do it, and it's the worst time because it's the solstice. Everything's changing. The seasons are changing. You always get bad weather and rain and stuff like that. So, funny time to go holidaying under canvas. Anyway, pictures. I've got a note here. The latest satellite weekly summary of pictures is in the post underneath this on Facebook. They're really pretty cool, and in fact, I reckon it'll be a great thing to put all of those picture summaries together at the end of the race and just let it run as a background. It'd be quite fun looking at all the things that are going on. It's a bit of a snapshot of the race that you think of as boat race, blood, sweat, and tears, all this, that, and the other, and then you see the human side of it, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. So I'll maintain my desire, my wish, like a lot of other people. Hopefully, I'm sailing in the next one in 27, and I'm making some more moves along those lines right now. I'd much rather, whilst we enjoy, and it's a real pleasure to be running the race. I really see all those photos now. I want to be there. So we will just have to see what happens. Nothing definite for now, but I'm, as I say, one of many. We got still got people after us to get the notice of race up and the entry applications, which will happen before the end of the race and hopefully soon. But there's some technical bits that we're still adding and making decisions on, and there will be some more changes. We in the last 10 days or so, we're just reflecting on a few other issues. So, stand by for that when it comes out. I'm sure even if you're not interested in sailing in it, you might want to read it just to see what's going to happen. And we'll do when we launch it, we'll do a summary of all the new bits and pieces as well. So anyway, La Sable d'Olonne today is pretty cool. It's just a gentle breeze, a bit of blue, a bit of cloud. It's not a bad place to hang out. Activity on the water. People are getting organised. The clubs are starting to sail train the young members and non-sailors, things like that. So summer's not too far away, and daylight saving starts tonight, I think. I think it's tonight. And I forget, I just seen 2 days in a row. I've been in MGR, boom, boom, MGR. We've got a big international, all the sailors looking at doing the Transat and the mini globe race next year. We're having a big conference to go through everything before we start making announcements, maybe next week, about what's happening. It's going to be groundbreaking, actually. I was reading, I'm digressing here, it's the weekend, sorry about this. I was reading once again the statements made by the Ultims, when they did the first solo non-stop Ultim race around the world. And they're saying breaking new ground, it's a historic event, and it was really exciting. It was fun to watch because no one had ever tried it in 100-foot boats. That's exactly what's going to happen with the mini globe race. It's groundbreaking. No one's ever tried to run a solo round the world yacht race in 19-foot plywood home-built boats or 5.8-metre boats. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and there's a lot of passionate people involved, so stand by for that. It'll be pretty cool. Anyway, let's get back to the main game and see what the track is doing. Everyone's sailing in the right direction at the moment, even Explorer to a degree. I'm interested in that, but you can see it's a bit of a boat race right now. It's all about boat speed and so on. But if you look there, you can see that a bit about what we spoke about yesterday. The Azores High is going to start to influence the fleet, and there will absolutely be winners and losers out of this. We've seen it before in both the Golden Globe races when they get towards the end. But so it's going to be some fun days ahead. Anyway, good to see them all moving. We'll start at the bottom of the fleet and work our way up. Sadly, Explorer was doing okay, and I'm just interested in speed. Okay, they've got 5.6 knots, which is good. They're going places. But this morning, about 5 o'clock position, I thought, this is cool. They're going up and making speed. They need to go this way because they're going to, by not reaching north as quick as possible, they might start running out of wind in the next 2 days because this is all going to move up. But anyway, they're still moving. So 5.6 knots, and they did 96-mile day. Conditions would be quite gentle there. They're still sailing a fair bit off the breeze. I calculated it before from windy and so on. They're about, let's put it this way. They're 15 degrees further off the breeze, off the north than Sterner was. Sterner's doing 6.9 knots, a little bit faster. They got more breeze, obviously, and 127-mile day. But the wind directions were the same, and you can see Explorer's not able to hold up to weather. Could be part of the fact that they can't use their full rolled out genoa because of the broken foils. They have to leave it slightly rolled, which changes the sail shape of the sails. The sails are really good. They're Rolly Tasca sails, but once you put a couple of rolls in, even though it's a foam on the luff, it's still a bit of a bag of wheat, especially if you're trying to go to windward. So that's hampering their progress as well. But anyway, they'll get there. So yeah, Sterner's doing pretty well. 3,380 miles to the finish. Normally that'd be about 3.5 weeks. Looking at ETAs, about 1,000 miles a week is expected from them, and Explorer 2 usually. So White Shadow 6.5 knots and 139-mile day, pretty good. Put that alongside Triana, 7.6 knots and 153-mile day. So as soon as the wind's picking up, Triana are really trying hard. So they are actually sailing faster and travelled further over the last 24 hours. So, but it's not huge increments, especially when you look at what the other boats are doing. So anyway, so be it. Vrika, 7.2 knots and 147-mile day. Nothing wrong with that. They'll be happy there. And Galliana with Secure, slowly getting a northerly course because the wind's swinging as we get further into the North Atlantic. 7 knots and 140-mile day. Not too bad, but hard to make any gains anywhere. 7.9 knots for Outlaw and 175-mile day. And Maiden managing to hook around because maybe the breeze, as they get up, the breeze is going more to the east, which is the way it usually happens. So you can see all the boats up here, their course is slowly hooking around even past north. So 7.7 knots, 177-mile day. That's a bonus. Neptune, 8 knots, 150-mile day, out to the west, which I was saying yesterday by the look of the weather, that's going to be the preferred position. Is this it's not meant to do not meant to do that every time I go there. Anyway, so this side is better than that side right now. Translated 9, 8.4 knots and 193 nautical mile days. That's pretty cool. 193-mile day. Let's go straight to Penjuic. 194-mile day. So they're holding their own with Penjuic. And she just made me realise it'll be interesting. Paul Kayard, when he does Translated 9's weekly updates, he usually does a glimpse at the routing program. And that will be interesting to watch. He usually puts 3 different versions up of the routing program based on the projected forecast over the coming week. And I must have a look at that because it'd be interesting to see what the routing's saying. But I think it's going to favour this side of the course, this side of the rum line for sure. So I might remember to have a look at that. I think it's usually up on Wednesdays, right when they'll be about to interact with the centre of the Azores High. Anyway, so as I said, yeah, Penjuic doing okay. L'Esprit de Keep, 170-mile day, so they've lost out a little bit. 24 miles slower than Penjuic right now. And Spirit of Helsinki charging ahead, 8 knots and 192-mile day. So that's still 2 nautical miles behind Penjuic. So she's not catching Penjuic, but passing the others in the fleet. And that's what I'd expect. As I've always said, Helsinki is a big, powerful windward boat. Boat length is the same as Translated 9, but completely different design, later design, bigger sections down aft, a lot more powerful, bigger rig. And in these mild conditions where it's blowing 15, maybe gusting 20, they can have everything up and go for it without putting too much stress on the boat. And that seems to be exactly what's happening. Nonetheless, Maiden holding their own, really. So doing pretty well. 177-mile day against Helsinki at 192, but still performing well considering the design of the boat. Not there's anything wrong with it, but it's not necessarily meant to be a powerful windward boat, say like Helsinki. I've got to be careful what I say here. People think I'm certainly not an expert on boat design. I'm talking about fundamentals and very basic principles of the differences in between the boats. There was an interesting one here. You can see it this morning, 2 positions ago. You see there's a little dog leg here, and I have no idea what that was, but for some reason, for 4 hours, when the weather hadn't changed, Neptune took off on port tack, only doing 4 knots, and it went for, there's your timeline. In the 4 hours, they well, in fact, I can tell you, that 4-hour segment, they only went, what have we got? In 4 hours, they only did 4 4 16, yeah. So it was 4 hours average all the way across there. But since then, they've been making good time. So when we saw that, we discussed it, and I thought, oh, maybe something went wrong with the rig, and they've had to go over the other tack, and they're going slow while they fix it, or whatever. So there may be a question there. We immediately looked for a comment from Neptune, a tweet or something, but nothing came through. So that story may yet need to be told. I've got no idea what happened there, but something absolutely happened. But it all must be sorted, and they're on their way. So that's kind of cool. We'll wait to hear from them, or we'll chat to them about it on their call. So I think we've covered everyone there. Did I forget anyone? No, I don't think I did. So we can now start to look at the weather that's going to happen in the next 2 days, 2-3 days. This is where the action is going to take place on the weather. Right down here, it's pretty much trade winds. That'll hold true. So we don't have to concentrate on that. I'm more inclined to see what's going to happen with the weather here. So I'll try one more zoom there, and we'll just watch. I don't know, it might be the mouse that's doing this. I'm not sure. Anyway, I want to do one more click there. So that's it. Rightio, and we'll. I can make this a little bit bigger, up to there. Rightio. So we're going to click through and see what happens here with the center of this high. So we'll come through. There's about 12 hours. Not a lot of breeze out to the west again of the run line, but you can see Penjuik is going right up to the middle of it. And here comes the little bridge I was talking about that may evolve here. It's certainly not going to evolve much there at the moment. And so that's in the next 24 hours. Okay, so 24 hours from now, it's going to get very light for Penjuik, but I'd say they might. I'm going to hear my clicks now because I'm going to check the mouse. I think the mouse is causing the problems. And I'm just going to come back here, pull that down again, and what I'm trying to do here is get a distance measure about where I think Penjuik will be in 24 hours. They won't be 160 miles. I reckon they'll be about 120 miles up. So they're going to be right in these super calms. The others, if we look at 120 miles of L'Esprit Keep on their current course, which they'll probably hold, they're still going to have breeze. So you can see there's a reasonable amount of breeze compared to what might have been experienced by Penjuik. As for translated 9, so if they come up here 120 odd miles or something, they might get lucky and go through there. So just imagine that they're all heading up a bit, but Penjuik's going to be the first one into the actual no-go zone potentially. So that's in the first day. That's the 31st for tomorrow. Going through the next day, you can see nothing's happening in front of Penjuik, no wind at all. There's a slight bit of pressure here. I can see it. I hope you can see it as well. There's certainly a bit more breeze. Not a lot. Nothing to write home about. No, nothing. Yeah. It's a bit hard. Okay, there's the 24 hours. So none of it's looking really good. For Penjuik in particular, nothing. They're going to go very slow. For L'Esprit Keep, I think they'll catch up a little bit, so they may regain that 20 miles or 30 or 40 miles even in the next 2 days. Translated 9, they've got absolutely a little bit more breeze all the way through, so they may pick up 40 miles or so on Penduick. And then if we go down the list, this will show you how much there might be compression of the fleet. It's a real chance for Helsinki to gain some ground. Also Maiden, Neptune, everyone down here is going to gain on them. And so then, will it be a case of eventually Penduick gets across first and takes off, or will the rest of the fleet be able to hold that gain and just come up alongside them? And I think that's more likely to happen than not. That sounds like a legal term. Why am I bringing it up? More likely than not. So just to come back here, that was too far. That's because I'm using the bloody mouse. Okay, so let's just look at it at this scale here and carry on for day 3. This gets a bit unreliable, but it's not too bad. So day 3, you see it's still a real challenge. If Penduick's up here, trying to break through this is very slow. But the others over here, there is a little bit of breeze. And if they can get up and get alongside Penduick and get into this stuff, if Penduick's stuck in here still, because this trough is going to hold there, someone can pass Penduick. I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying it is a real possibility. I've seen this happen before. And, you know, Translated 9 is not far behind. It's still not looking so good. But again, you can see up here, there's nothing. So it's very slow. But here, there's more. And they get up onto this. If they get their forecast and they know to keep following this line, rather than go and park in this one, that's the next challenge. Because you can see that next area of calm just sits there. This very slowly comes together, and then once you've got that, you're away. So the next couple of days is critical to the leaders and a big opportunity for Maiden, Helsinki, L'Esprit de Keep, Translated 9, and Neptune. Big opportunity for them to close in on Penduick. The rest of them just sailing trades. Hopefully, Explorer will be part of that as well. You can see the breeze fills in, and then they come around here and they'll be out to the west. But so what? So that's my take on what's happening. It's going to be fun to watch, and it'll be interesting. I'm sure. I haven't heard anyone talking about it or tweeting it, but their weather faxes will start to come into effect any day now, and they should be getting some forecasts as well. I know Tapio's getting forecast. He should be getting forecasts from his team, and you know, some of the others will slowly come on as well. Anyway, let's see what the leaderboard is saying. Okay, so Penduick, and it's all about distance here. 2415 and then 25992. So a couple hundred miles behind us. No, 4, 5, 6. That's not 200 miles. Am I missing something there? L'Esprit de Keep, not 200 miles behind. There might be some, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong number. I'm looking at distance from the finish, distance from the start, but we want distance to the finish is 2.4. You know, it's still right. It didn't seem like 200 miles. It's the weekend. We've got time to fluff around here. I'm going to actually measure it. I'm going to come back here, get up there, just to see if some of these, there's no way it's that 200 miles for sure. No, it's only 120 there. So boat for boat along the run line, it's about 97 miles. So, yeah, that should, I'm not sure what's going on there, but that's not right. Anyway, bit of a trick. So Spirit of Helsinki is third, and then there's Translated 9, not far behind that. Maiden just a few miles behind that, 30, 40 miles or something. Then Neptune, and so it goes down the line. Outlaw, Ivrica, Galliano with Secure, quite a long way down, and so on. But let's go to IRC and see what we've got. Now, straight away, it's very interesting. Translated 9 now holding first place. So again, just to explain, it's based on the VMG for the last few days, or from the start, actually. So that's a pretty reasonable assumption. Gives an average. And Translated 9 are now holding first place. And 1 hour behind that is L'Esprit de Keep. So effectively, Translated 9 have overtaken L'Esprit de Keep. Another 20 minutes or so behind that is Penduick. And then about a day behind that is Spirit of Helsinki, Neptune, Maiden, Outlaw, Galliano with Secure, 53 days. So 53 versus 41. So yeah, they're a full 3 days behind. Not good. And Triana, 54 days and 14 hours. So still not healthy for this one. 54 days, making it nearly impossible to do anything there. But I'm going to now zip across to the other side, just redo the whole thing, and we'll look at the combined results and see how much Triana has up their sleeve to maintain their lead in IRC. So Triana is still there, 183 days and 6 hours. So they're now down to a 2-day lead. They've only got 2 days on Maiden, and Maiden is working hard to try and fix that. Can they do it? They've still got 2,500 miles, and they've got to pick up 2 full days. It's possible, but pretty tough. I'd say it's possible. Watch this space. I don't think it's impossible, but it's tough, unless something happened on Triana. So you just never know, though. They've got to get through the. You could lose 2 days in the Azores High. This is how it works. I mean, that's pretty radical to say 2 days, but how it works is this: that if Maiden get a really good deal with the centre of the Azores High and plays their cards right, if they get good weather forecasts and sails really well, then that's going to give them a jump. And then if Triana completely muffs it, gets a bad deal with the Azores High, and by that I mean there's a time sequence. Sometimes you arrive and it's just all wrong. The centre of the high is in the wrong spot. It doesn't allow you to go up the other side and around fast. Even though you've got good forecasting, you just can't get it. So there's a bit of luck there. If they get a bad deal or something goes a little bit wrong, they could easily lose a day or more. So in that case, either one of them only has to pick up a day, and because the other one loses a day. Or if Triana sails really well, gets a good deal too, then Maiden has got to try and gain 2 days, which is pretty tough, but not impossible. So that's kind of fun. Then the next one overall is Spirit of Helsinki, and she's only she's a day and 10 hours, so 34 hours behind. That's a tough call. That's a really tough call. So all things considered, Triana's still looking good, but Maiden is absolutely breathing down their neck. And if either of those muck up, you've got Spirit of Helsinki and Valar. Look at that. Penjuic is now on top of Galliana with Secure. And that's very interesting, because normally you'd except for the Azores High, when you're likely to get some light weather, once you get the other side of that, it's usually consistent, solid, not heavy weather, but it can be heavy weather at the end, but at least it's solid weather. And that's what Penjuic needs to perform to their rating. They're a big, powerful, fast boat, which means they've got to work hard. And in fact, just without letting the cat out of the bag, we're thinking about getting another boat. And if we do, it'll be try to win something or perform properly. And there's no doubt that a smaller boat, like Triana, is that sort of area of boat for 53 feet, 51 to 53 feet. Over all the ranges of sailing from heavy weather to light weather, usually a medium-sized boat or a smaller-sized boat can actually sail to their rating better than a super large boat, because your options are limited. Super large, you want to be all heavy weather and all that sort of stuff to keep your rating up. But with a smaller boat, you're across the board. You can do different things. So anyway, that's all part of it. When I say another boat, you might have 2, could have 3 or 4. The fleet, who knows? Who cares? Anyway, probably shouldn't have said all that. Okay, that's it. So we'll just come back to now. We've finished with all that. Boom, boom. Here we are, weekend. So nearly all done, and let's go to the top here. And g'day, Kathleen. All your hats on the way. G'day, Warren. To there. G'day, Rob. Didn't go camping this weekend. Good idea. Yeah, the pictures are cool. I really enjoy them, because you see them come through, as a team. It's 3 photos. That's cool. But when you see it all together, you see the contrast through the whole fleet of what's going on, and they're all having fun. And that's, I think, one of the big attractions to the OGR. You can race hard, but you can still have fun. And you're on nice boats, so you can have more fun on an ice boat than a carbon fiber flyer that's crashing and banging. This is a bit more sedate. UTC. Oh, that's a good point. John's asking, will we be doing the tracker at 1200 UTC tomorrow? That's a good point. I'm not sure. Depends how I feel. I have to think about that. I'll take that question on notice. I'm glad you mentioned it, though, because otherwise we'd probably turn up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon again. Well, for tomorrow, yes. And if we're going to change it, I'll let you know. But I'd probably be doing it from home, and I'm not sure the signal from there, but we'll see. I'm in here because we've got this mini Globe Race conference on tonight. I've got to do a few things because we're using the internet out of the office here, so it'll be a late night tonight here. Going to start till 9 o'clock at night. All fun. Hey, Paul. Thanks, Mike. What do I? And one of there. G'day, Christine. Could Neptune have tack to help move the stack weight down the track? No, it wouldn't have taken that long. They're only making 4 knots for those 4 hours, which is very unusual. So something was going on, but I have no idea. I knew they didn't stop with the breeze, so it's not as if they had a wind shift and had to tack and then only doing 4 knots. I wouldn't think so anyway. I may be wrong, but that's it. Hand pink waving, face blue smiling, turquoise waving. Who said that? Oh. Oh, okay. I'm not sure. Jane just said hi. Windy huge westerly all next week. On windy, a huge westerly all next week. Yeah, that's if they can get up there. That's the challenge. Once they're up there, someone's going to scream away. So the first person that gets into that is what I'm saying. They're going to get a big break, and there is the potential for those on the west to possibly sneak around outside Penjuic, and that would make life really interesting. Anyway, we'll see. My new best friend. Thanks. Okay. Yep. Paul, thanks for the update. Okay. All right. That's it. So we will see you tomorrow, and it should be the same time UTC, but we may go back and keep the same local time because I forget when England's coming online for that as well. But we'll see. So for tomorrow, it'll be UTC 12 o'clock here, local time France, and then we'll work it out. I'll think about it between now and then. See you later. Have a good weekend and happy Easter for those that celebrate that and all the things that it means. See you later.